Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a pretty interesting topic for discussion today, and that is whether or not I was wrong about Nod-Krai. Because the Gacha DG2 has a new video out, and I don't think looking at the first frame of the video does it justice, nor the title. Genshin Impact is doing something right for now, and when you look at the thumbnail, just a gigantic devs listened. And so, I want to go ahead and see, the like ratio on it is looking pretty damn good. What have these devs been doing right? Because as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't looked that great to me. There's not a lot of people talking about it. Maybe there actually is a lot to talk about, but the goodwill with the player base has been burned. Let's just see.
What has more meaning to you, a human being or the feelings of your favorite gacha character? If you have any sort of common sense, you probably wouldn't even think that's something that needs to be asked. But apparently that's a real question because Skirk's VA got harassed for not respecting the feelings of a character made up for the purpose of money. But you know what? Maybe people do have a point.
What other community does this where the VA gets harassed out of interacting with them? It doesn't seem like something that happens very often. It's like just Hoyoverse.
Do we even know for sure that gacha characters don't have feelings? So on behalf of all of us, we'll forgive Skirk's VA just this once, but next time we won't be so lenient. Anyways, Nod-Krai has had a pretty decent reception so far, and there's some things to be content with as an avid Genshin player, but it's no secret that Hoyo sees this product as a free farm game where the devs just log in and collect the profit and then log off. But you know what? I was wrong about one thing when it comes to Genshin.
What was it? I need to know. I need to know that my game, that my favorite game ever, Genshin Impacto, is not a pile of trash.
Nod-Krai actually has a pretty solid story so far. And yes, I had to watch someone play the story on a PlayStation share screen. And he had caveman Wi-Fi, but even then, I still thought it was good. If
Aren't there just playthroughs on YouTube?
you think about it though, it's pretty hard to put something out even worse than Natlan. Considering Mawika and Capitano's story arcs, the ending of Natlan was a lot more rushed than it should have been.
So is he basically saying that Nod-Krai can only be viewed as good because Natlan was so bad? And so pretty much any story would have been an improvement over Nod-Krai? Or sorry, over Natlan?
Didn't make it any better that half of the cast was doing mime cosplay, and I'm not sure whether or not that was ever mentioned in the lore that they were into that stuff, especially the part where everyone was chanting about ancient names, and it looked like Kanich and Iansan got insecure about their names because you couldn't hear a peep out of them.
Let us raise our cups in honor of his heroism and send him off with this final tribute. For at last, his wish is now fulfilled.
Oh, right. They didn't have VAs for 90% of the game because of that fake strike that wasn't actually happening. That wasn't real. Oh, right.
Obviously, that stuff isn't the biggest deal, especially if you're not playing Genshin in English, but I'm sure most people can agree that the pacing in Natlan in general was
At least at least they avoided bad lip sync. You're right.
extremely odd and killed a lot of potential hype that could have been created about a region of war. The finale of Natlan was one of those group projects that nobody communicated about while it was being made, so they had to just throw some shit together the day before it was due. But thankfully, even though we haven't gotten much from Nod-Krai so far,
Natlan really does seem like it was desperately rewritten after Wuthering Waves released. I legitimately think that Mabuika's motorcycle was like a last-minute ad. Because apparently, her motorcycle doesn't even show up until the final act of Natlan. And so literally, I just think that these devs saw the movement in Wuthering Waves and decided that they needed that on every single character. And so all that movement shit was like added in the last minute of development. Otherwise, why did Mabuika's motorcycle not exist until the last patch of the story? Give me a reason. There isn't one.
it's already better than the entirety of 5.0's story. A lot of people have pointed out the similarities of the feelings of this new region to Mondstadt, which also had a better story than Natlan, by the way. It was short, sweet, and to the point. Don't get me wrong.
Much like how Belobog is better than Amphorius, or how Belobog was better than Panikani, or how Belobog was better than the Zhanzhou Lofu, and how they just hired the Belobog guy for HSR, but for some, he probably gave up on the project.
There's still unnecessary yapathons here and there, especially when it comes to the world quests. And, I wonder what would solve that issue. Well, if they haven't added it by now, then I'm sure it's not that important, so whatever. It is.
Even HSR has it. I'm not gonna lie, the HSR skip button is pretty good. Yeah, you wanna know what it was like for me starting Anomaly Arbitration? I started that fucking dialogue, then clicked the skip button, and then I could access the game mode. It was awesome. It actually felt like I was playing Wuthering Waves. Then I played the Anomaly Arbitration game mode at HSR, and then I remembered why I don't play the game anymore.
Is what it is. I'm sure we can go another 5 years without it. But for the most part, the characters have real impact on you, and the villain feels like an actual threat rather than the Abyss Order being the major villain, because we've known about them since the beginning, and most of the time we were fighting trash mobs that get no-diffed by base Yansan. Natlan felt more like a side story, but the cohesion within the main...
Maybe you could akin it to those filler arcs in an anime, where the anime outpaced the manga, and so the anime writers had to think of some random fucking shit to do for like an entire season. I think like the best, really the worst example I can think of, right, is like the Bleach arc, right? It was like the Bounto filler arc. I don't like that one. I watched that when I was like in fucking elementary school, right? Or some shit like that. I heard that one was trash, right? It kind of, maybe that's just like the way it was for Natlan.
Quest that you get in Nod-Krai, along with the gorgeous region, is refreshing because Genshin really delivered with Fontaine, and I wanted to see them keep that momentum. So I would like to be a Hoyo shill now. Where do I sign up?
I think most people can agree that Fontaine was literally the peak of Genshin Impact. From the perspective of the game felt really balanced. Furino's release brought back literal dog shit characters into the meta. Made Jean high tier, stuff like that. Story was in a great spot. Yeah, I think 4.0 was like peak Genshin Impact. And then Natlan was literally the worst Genshin's ever been. It's kind of nuts how that transition occurred. And I'm telling you, a fuck ton of rewriting because the devs panicked after seeing Wuwa. I don't know how else it was so dog shit. And again, why is her motorcycle not showing up until the final act?
Do I just have to say I hate Wuwa now or something? Genshin's character designs are way better. Speaking of the actual characters, Lauma is one of the best character designs we've seen so far in Genshin, and it's exactly why you think that's the case. Yelan looks pretty good too. I don't know why people are upset about this one because she looks so much like another character. Huh?
It's fair to say Genshin has basically gone full Gunnar with their designs. Yeah, I don't really know if anyone else can disagree with that take. They are pretty much entirely Gunnar now.
Oh shit, my bad. I meant Nefer. Yohada is probably the most entertaining character we see. She even has that Sakura inner monologue thing going on.
What is going on here? Boss usually just says things like, hey, go do this, or you, go take care of that. Is this some kind of test?
I heard people really like this unit.
I can't let the boss down. Can I?
Go on, say it! Let her have it good, just like you did to me!
The character designs are great, but the problem with Genshin has always been how you obtain...
That shit was not funny. You gotta remember what the target audience is, guys. This was made for, like, 12-year-olds. So I'm pretty sure they enjoyed it.
These said characters, and how inconvenient it is to build or play the endgame content with them. As a free-to-play, if you want the units required to clear endgame, then this is your job. God forbid you have the school plus work combo, then you're really cooked because you aren't getting paid for this part-time job.
You wanna know what the nice news is Mr. Pokey taught us all a lesson about power creep and overpowered units. It's actually a great time to be a new free-to-play player when they release all these broken units because you already know who's trash. And so you can just exclusively decide to only pull the broken units. And then you can say the game's actually free-to-play friendly. Oh wait, he gave up on his free-to-play account. Probably because he couldn't clear because it was doomed from the fucking start. But yeah, right, you can, if you're a new free-to-play, you can just you just know who's dog shit. Just take a look at who they're giving out free constellations for. Just don't pull those units because they're bad. And then all the new ones, right? Well, they're all going to be on banner, so you can just pull them.
Pulls per patch go down constantly, and the ways to get these pulls are made to maximize your engagement with their product, because they could care less about anything else you have to do to be a productive member of society. This is important because even if you don't want every character in the game, good luck with team building. Genshin Impact did a great job handling power creep before 5.3. There were always very powerful units like Farina, but it never became an issue until one of the worst days in Genshin history. You can't forget it because it was the first day of 2025.
They decided, the Genshin Impact devs decided that they were going to ruin their game at the start of the year.
This fateful day, Hoyoverse decided that they were going to take after HSR and finally blow up the balance that they kept for 4 years.
Why? Why did they do this? Every team in the game was dealing 50 to 60k DPS. Then Mavuika Sitlali comes in and just deals 90, 100. They just did literally 50% more damage than every other team in the game. Nobody understands this.
So I really don't want to see any more slip-ups like this from Genshin, because Ananta just released an official gameplay trailer, and this game looks incredible. Wait, what is this?
Oh, we cannot because we are
I just hope it releases sometime before we're senile and can't understand what's actually going on. Okay.
My take is that the gameplay loop of Ananta is going to be extremely casual, especially compared to like the Genshin perspective. That's my take on it. I don't really think that it's going to capture the same sort of audience, because it kind of does, from what I've seen in the game, Ananta does seem like a casual paradise. Think about the type of people that play like GTA Online, right? Don't they just go in and just do like dumb shit and like not really like, is there a meta in GTA Online? Like, is there a meta in that game?
Okay, so if it's not clear enough, this game is basically screaming anime GTA, which is ironic because of the upcoming release of GTA 6 after a lifetime of waiting. The thing about this,
like, you guys just like get in jets and then like run each other over, right? That's what I mean. It's like I view that as like giga casual. If there's like no meta for the game,
this upcoming title is that they followed the trend of what we'd assume would happen with future gacha games. In order to compete with a titan like Hoyo, you need to be willing to innovate for a more quality experience for the consumer. Recently, Duet Night Abyss shocked the world, and instead of just simply making the character banner guaranteed, they removed the entire gacha system. And
so this is my take. I'm not going to be out here glazing Duet Night Abyss, talking about how amazing it is or that it's an improvement over other game systems, until I see what the economy of the game actually is. I need to actually see how long it takes to get the characters, how long it takes to do XYZ, because basically, if I'm going to have to play the game for like 10 plus hours to unlock a character, I'm just going to be real here. I don't think I have time for that one, right? And so it's really just about like the balance that's in there for the grind to the gameplay. And if it's too much grind, then that's going to be something that really holds it back, because, well, if you're not paying with your gacha luck, you're paying with your time. And again, time is very valuable, especially depending on how old you are.
it was only a matter of time before Ananta had to step up to the plate and do the same. They have also removed the entire gacha system, and I couldn't be happier for the space, because as much as people like to cove, the gacha system is predatory no matter which way you spin it, and if you're naturally a very unlucky person, this by itself could be enough for you to not even want to give gacha games a try. Regardless of how good the story is, you can get tired of not being able to get the units that you want. If you've ever felt burnt out in Genshin Impact, then the gacha system is probably part of the reason why. And if you just reside within the gacha space, you wouldn't know that a ton of successful games simply monetize cosmetics, because it's a lot more consumer friendly. You don't feel like you're missing out on your favorite design, or in the case of Genshin, an integral part of a team that
I think it's more so the fact that the kits are locked behind the gacha.
completely blows every other option out of the water. Imagine having every single character on the roster for free. Wouldn't you be motivated to play a lot more? The removal of the gacha systems from some of the most anticipated gacha games of the new era is absolutely game changing and potentially, well, let's be honest, Genshin is probably going to die on that hill of ignorance, but maybe if Do at Night Abyss and Ananta are as successful as they should be, then Genshin will finally change their ways. But
this is my take on the whole like gacha versus non-gacha monetization, all of that, right? So one thing is undeniable about some games. You can guarantee that you get a character, right? You just have to save for a fucking long time, and that means you're gonna have to skip other characters. And there's this argument, right, that you can make of like, oh, these characters cost $400, which is true if you're buying the stuff, right? You're buying the Lunite, you're buying the Primo Gems, all of that. But in a similar way, you can also argue on the other side, these devs are giving you X hundred dollars worth of pulls every patch. Yeah, you get $1 for logging into the game because you get 60 Primo Gems for doing your dailies. Right? So it can like go in both directions. And it really, again, it depends on the income. It depends on the income of the pulls. Because if HSR is a game that gives you 120 pulls every patch, and Genshin is a game that gives you 40 pulls, 50 pulls every patch, well, your money is technically worth more in one game over the other. So it's really, again, it's about the economy. It's about not just the gacha system. It's not about, like, it's about how much you're getting, how much time is the stuff taking, and how much do you have to play to unlock these things.
Let's be clear. I am fully aware of the possibility that Ananta could be just another 9 to 5 waiting for us to take the bait. If you have to play the game for 24 hours straight just to get one character, then obviously that would be just as bad as the gacha system.
I'm glad that he's addressing that. Yes, because no gacha doesn't automatically mean good.
Although I don't expect it to be that bad, but I am sure there will be some sort of grind in general. So if you're a huge fan of Genshin, you should want at least one of these titles to be great in order to pressure out some of that quality of life you've been waiting for since the beginning of this decade. And no, I'm not even gonna mention Neverness to EOS.
I think this game is so fucking cooked, it's unbelievable. I don't even think people think about this game anymore. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because if you like the combat in this game, Wuthering Waves is going to feel better. If you like the aesthetics in this game, ZZZ is probably going to be better. And if you like the city open world aspect, Ananta is going to be better. So it's like, I don't even know what this game seems like a blend. This game seems like a blend of some of the more popular titles, but I think it's going to be a jack of all trades that doesn't do anything well. And the fact that its combat looks literally exactly the same as Wuthering Waves, down to copying the movesets, where you got like Zhang Liao and the female MC of this game both do the same exact animation. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. Yeah.
But Wuthering Waves has already done
Why did he do that?
some of the pressuring, although for some reason it seems like the Hoyo devs were updating the game with their eyes closed. When it came to some of these QOLs, the resin overflow is still bruh. And with how many characters there are in Genshin and how inconvenient it is to build them, some type of extra resin would help, which by the way isn't anything crazy to ask for. It's not.
The time really has come for the game to have overflow, and I genuinely do think that it's such a dumb decision to not put this shit in the game already, like the reserve, because all this does is inspire you to just quit the game permanently. At least in HSR, I have the hope, right? I'll be able to log in and then grind, right? Like 5,000 relics if I quit. That's like the nice thing that's waiting for me. In Genshin, it's just you left off in the exact same spot when you quit months ago. So it's like, I'm just encouraged if I do quit to just quit permanently because of the systems. And at the very least, they know in other games that you can be convinced to come back by having this bonus. I guess they just don't care.
Bruh. And with how many characters there are in Genshin and how inconvenient it is to build them, some type of extra resin would help, which by the way isn't anything crazy to ask for. It's
yeah, I mean, you still have your weekly locked talent materials. It's been 5 years, man. Like, surely Surely they can do away with that by now, right? It's been 5 fucking years, bro.
It's not like they don't have the budget or the time to do this. They have all the time in the world. Although they did add a helpful compass that you can level up to the point that it shows you everything like you're calling in a UAV.
Oh, so it's just like the Wuthering Waves loot mapper that you get at level 1.
It's legitimately useful, especially when upgraded, and it makes finding things in the open world a lot easier. Also,
Is that only a Nod-Krai though? I heard that treasure compass that actually feels like Wu-Wa's treasure compass, right? It only works in Nod-Krai. So you gotta level it up, and then it only works in Nod-Krai. It's like they don't want you to do the content in this game. It's like these devs don't want you to play Sumeru. They don't want you to play, like, the old regions. I don't get it. Wouldn't that just make people want to go play the other regions? They're so stupid.
you can see the 4 stat on an artifact that isn't rolled yet, but come on now.
That one's okay, but it's also like, okay, what do you say? I guess you save time because you'll know that the piece isn't double crit, so there's no point in exploring. Because it's not like you're saving a lot of EXP materials, saving from 0 to +4.
Are we gonna act like artifact loadouts don't exist? How are you gonna keep giving us artifact QOLs and then not give us the loadouts?
Well, they keep saying that they're going to give loadouts, and every single time they announce loadouts that aren't really loadouts, you'll have every CC for the game glazing the game like it actually had loadouts. I'm still going to reference this video because it's fucking hilarious. I remember when people were reacting to the announcement. I'm glad that this is the timestamp that it got left on. We can just go through it again. Genshin Impact, you're a fraud. Brax, you don't play Genshin Impact, you're a fraud. Mr. Pokey, you don't play Genshin Impact, you're a fraud. Tuwanto, you don't actually play Genshin Impact, you're a fraud. Ryuku, also a fraud. Fobmaster, fraud master. Ziox, fraud. Doro 44, fraud 44. It's already in the game! This is their announcement. This was their announcement of the new feature. And then that's what's already in, that was already in the game prior to the patch where that feature was supposed to be put in. The same damn thing. And then every CC for Genshin Impact was talking about it like it was new. Sorry, that one's just funny. I have to reference it whenever it's possible.
There are so many characters and artifact sets in this game that it makes no sense for loadouts to not be in Genshin yet. But regardless of that, I will say, as a casual player, Genshin Impact is actually pretty fun right now. Now, before I get to it,
Okay.
I'm not trying to insinuate that Genshin is dead. I'm sure there's still C6 R5 kings that casually drop a mortgage payment on a character they don't know anything about besides their chest size. But now it's time for your gacha jargon word of the day, and hopefully I won't have to do this anymore when gacha is dead. And
I like that he specified it as, if you're a giga casual player, Genshin is pretty fun. But yeah, if you're trying to keep up with the meta, you're gonna need to pull every single new unit coming out for the next, probably 5 patch cycles. And you're not gonna have enough pulls to get all those units free to play. So, yeah, I mean, if you just want to keep up with this game's meta, you're gonna have to take the HSR approach and spend literally hundreds of dollars every patch, but you still won't clear all the endgame because Stygian Onslaught and Anomaly Arbitration are in there to basically tell you, hey, unless you're C6ing units, you can't play these modes. So, yeah, glad that he clarified the casual piece, and I'm sure, like, you know, those individuals that are, again, just logging in for fun got what they wanted, because they've made everything in this game pay to play.
we just have games that respect our time. So let's go with the term EOS.
All right. Another great video by the Gacha DG2. Well played, sir. Well played, sir. I guess I technically got baited, but I felt like this was the direction that the video was going to go anyways. So yeah, I guess I was wrong about Nod-Krai. It's actually not the worst thing ever, because Natlan is always going to exist. That'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.